this issue of gender identity has reared its head again in our education curriculum. The MP for Asing, is it South? Yes,
South,
yes, raised the issue. Subsequently, a statement from NaCCA has withdrawn. It's telling us that they've withdrawn that curriculum or that teaching manual. Will this thing ever go away? Because it looks like it goes down and then it rests its head again.
No, you see, all that we are doing, we are only delaying it. Yes.
We are managing the situation and not solving it.
The truth is that those who are in charge of education, but knows that those things
eventually
are there. It's only when public uproar comes. They are doing everything to smuggle it in on the blind side of the public.
Yeah.
That is what happened when, under the NPP, they say comprehensive sexual education.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is that the LGBTQ agenda is a mandate of the United Nations that every country must adopt it.
Mandate.
Yeah, it's the UN that is pushing this agenda. It's actually the United Nations that is pushing this agenda globally, that every country must adopt. And so all UN agencies, you can't work there if you are openly opposed to LGBTQ. You will even be sacked. That is what the UN agencies are for. So if you work in any UN agency now, you cannot openly oppose, even if you oppose, keep it in your head. If it comes out of your mouth, you'll be sacked. Because it's a mandate of the organization. And we as a country are taking all kinds of monies from the UN to support education, support this and that and that. And some of the conditionalities for those monies are that you have to include this in the educational system. The reason being that they realize that when people grow up, they've done the people are promoted and have realized that when people grow up, it's difficult to change their mind.
Right.
So you can only get people to accept this when you teach them when they are kids. So the agenda is to make sure that these things are included in the educational system to make children believe that gender is not only male and female, that you can choose anything you want. So it's so as long as we continue to collect money from the UN agencies, they will find ways to put this in our educational system one way or the other, because that is the new directive to every country around the world, and make sure that this thing gets into educational system so that the kids are taught to believe that gender is not two, you have multiple genders and you can choose whichever one you want. So see, when the comprehensive sexual education one happened, it was somebody that alerted somebody from the UN systems. I'm very much aware. There was somebody who alerted somebody that, look, this is what is coming, but everybody seems to be asleep. So people must raise this issue. Before some of us woke up and realized that something is being done through the back door.
Yeah.
This one, I don't know who alerted the Intim for Joe, but it's the same standard, because the plan is to make sure that this thing enters our educational system. So before our children and grandchildren grow up, they have this mindset that gender is not only male and female. Gender is more than male and female. And that is what the United Nations is been set up to do. And that is why this government actually failed us bigly. This NDC government failed us bigly, because last year there was an opportunity by the UN that the body that promotes human rights, and that body is the one that has been promoting this LGBTQ agenda, because it has become a controversial issue at the UN. There was a vote that each country should vote to determine whether the body should be scrapped or the body should remain. And a body that is promoting LGBTQ, and there's an opportunity to vote for scrapping it or maintaining. We voted that the body should be maintained. So in our vote,
did we vote or
yes,
we
said if we abstain, why should we abstain? If you know that this body is the one that's promoting LGBTQ around the world, and there's opportunities that decide whether UN should scrap the body or the body should stay, and if we are really serious about we don't want it, why don't we vote against it? We should have voted that the body should be scrapped.
So abstaining is actually a vote.
It has led the body to remain. It has made the body to remain in the UN. So long as that body remain within the UN, and one of their mandate is to promote LGBTQ, they will continue to force us to do this thing. So as long as we are not financing ourselves, we are not able to put our finances under control, and we will be depending on various UN organizations for support, they will find ways to push this into our educational system at all costs. So whoever elected people to point it out, we must thank those people that they actually made us aware that something like that. Oh no, it's true. Because this would have been happening on the blind side. And somebody raised an issue on social media, which I think that we must all pay attention to.
Briefly.
It says that we are focused on only the public schools. But the private schools, the so-called international schools and the rest, they are already teaching some of these things to the children that go there. But it's like government and the Ghanaians attention is not on these private schools. We are only focused on the public education. But it says that who is asking those
questions
in those public schools and private schools.
Right.
So I think that is something that must all also pay attention to. And those of us who allow our kids to watch cartoons, now every cartoon that is on any network, they have put all kinds of LGBTQ things in. So if you allow your children to watch all those cartoons without any control, if you are unable to decide which cartoon your children can watch, you will be preventing the educational system from teaching it. But they are learning it directly from home, from TV. And so we must be very careful. If indeed we say we don't want it, then we must look at all areas where this agenda is being put. As for the adult movies, they are always there. But they realize that they need to change kids their mindset. So every cartoon that you see on any network now, there's one LGBTQ agenda on.
There's an element in there.
Inside there. And your children are watching it and you are sitting down looking and say, oh, they are not teaching it in school, so your children are safe. They are not.
Very well, thank you. Let me take a quick break here. I'll come back and then I'll pick your thoughts on this particular manual. This is Breakfast Daily here on Channel One Television. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Grateful for your time. Thank you so much for staying with us. You're watching Breakfast Daily here on Channel One Television, and we're having the news review segment. Some quick messages coming in. Good morning to you all at Channel One. Always bring these gentlemen. They are making my day already. They are truly Ghanaians. This is Mark from Ho. Thank you, Mark. This one says, because the private owners are not regulated, some road unworthy vehicles at various pickup points are transporting passengers and endangering their lives. So this is regarding the earlier subject we touched on. But now we're on the issue of...
Police are very right to stop unworthy vehicles.
Exactly.
So that's why it's not because they are not regulated. Then the police are not doing their work.
All right. So, well, looking at this agenda, LGBT agenda, this LGBT content that is rearing its head again. This time around, it's not even at the, if you like, the primary or the basic level. The introduction was actually coming at the senior high level. And the curriculum, we understand, has been withdrawn. Honorable Ndebila.
Yeah, thank you. I think these books were written in 2024.
Yes.
And introduced in 2025. The question I keep asking is, as a state, we say we abhor the practice of LGBTQ plus. Then as a nation, there was a point where we had a very serious debate, and in fact, there was even a private member's bill to legislate on this. So if this happened, what happened at the time they were writing this book? Who were those in charge? Was this book not reviewed by, some actors? I think that there's a system failure, a structural system failure in our institutions. That if we as a nation says that we don't want this practice, and there was a very serious debate in the country on these, and a book is written, and you still have these things there, then it means that some people have to be held responsible. Yeah, some people have to be held responsible. So it's not just a matter of redrawing or taking out that aspect from the book, but people responsible for the production of this book must be held responsible. We have to begin to be very responsible as a nation. We have to be very responsible as institutions. Our institutions must be seen to be working. We cannot just sit down and then people will sit down and pass things on to others to watch, when at least it has to go through a process for us to come out with a book, a textbook, which is supposed to be a manual for teachers as a guide, serving as a guide for teachers in teaching our our children in school.
Elective physical education and health.
Yes, so it's a very serious thing that I believe that I'm not looking at even the angle my brother was coming from, what
might be
influencing it and the rest of them. But as a nation, we say we don't want it. So why do we still have it in our system? Why do we still have it produced as part of our textbooks?
Yes.
So
it means that manual had been approved, printed, distributed with public funds.
Yes. So it means that some people are some people are culpable, some people are complicit.
So somebody caused financial loss.
Somebody caused financial loss to the state, and those people must be held responsible. Yes, it's a fact. Those people must be held responsible because we cannot sit down to just pay people to go there and then overlook things, or on the blind side of Ghanaians, listen to others from outside of us, of the country, to introduce certain things into our system that we do not like as a country. So action has to be taken. So to me, I don't believe in the fact that they have withdrawn it and that's it. No, I don't think so. I believe that we have to still go back and go through the system to be sure, or to ensure that those who did that are held responsible. They must account for these, errors or these infractions that they have done, and for introducing this to our system. In fact, they said if you withdraw the book, how many people are going to go around and pick, if I have bought the book, or people have bought the books in their schools, to institutions, or like to some institutions. Yeah. How are you going to go around to trace all these books and withdraw them? Yes, you've written that the book has been withdrawn, but people have access to the book.
I think it's a training manual for teachers. So perhaps they will have a system to withdraw.
No, maybe some people have, from other individuals have bought this book and it is out there. I'm not sure you'll be able to go around and trace and bring all these books back into the system. There are times people write books and then they after some reviewers or GES reviews the book and says the book is not worthy of use, but before you realize it is out there and people are still using it. I'm a teacher. You've used books that you go through the book. I've taught mathematics. There was a book that I used some time ago, and the book was withdrawn. But the book was still in the system. People bought the books. Children bought the book. Some errors, a lot of errors, mathematical calculations, errors. And people were using the book. It's the same thing as this book. You will take the book and then, you say you've withdrawn it and people are still using it out there. So I believe that, look, we have to crack the whip. People must account for this so that the right thing is done. I think as for our private schools are also regulated by the state institutions. And I believe that we have to ensure that the curriculum they introduce into our system is in consonance with our Ghanaian curriculum. Yes, you may be introducing a foreign curriculum, fine, but it must, the basic tenets, the basic requirements must be in line with our major curriculum that we have here. We cannot introduce a foreign educational curriculum into our system which does not match with our educational system. It has to be, in line, with our practice, with our social, and cultural values, and not something that is entirely new from our system or from the way we practice our educational system here. So these things are things that has to be looked at. As the state, I believe the regulator has to set up and do the right thing to ensure that the private schools do the right thing. We all talk, like he said, we are all talking about the government schools, but most of our children are in the private schools. So what happens to those ones? If regulation is not done properly, then there will be a backdoor. Because some of this curriculum that is introduced, if we are not properly regulated, then it's going to affect the private institutions, the private schools, the children that are in the private schools. So it has to be regulated properly to ensure that whatever it is introduced is in line with our broader, Ghanaian cultural values.
Very well. All right, Honorable Isa, your thoughts on this?
I should say that in January 2026, I am very disappointed as a Ghanaian that we have had to come sit here this morning and be talking about LGBTQ plus matters, given the level at which we raised these discussions some maybe 2 years ago. When the Special Human Sexual Rights Bill,
proper and family values bill,
the LGBTQ bill started off in Parliament, the discussions that we had, the interest that a lot of civil society organizations, our religious bodies, and I mean the stakeholder interactions that took place in this country. to where we ended off in 2024, going into the general elections, the importance to which we raise this matter as a people, and the stance that the NDC took, the stance that the NPP took, was said over time, we're going to look at this thing again as a bill in Parliament. I mean, it had to go through certain rigorous for it to become an act. We couldn't finish it up in 2024, but given the stance of the NDC, you would have thought that within the first couple of months of the NDC being in power, they would have done something significant about this. Either the president will agree to sign the bill then, or even take a bill to Parliament. That's what he told us. When I remember at a point when the president met the colleagues bishops, he did say that he didn't want this important legislation to come or to be sponsored by private individuals in Parliament, and that government itself was going to put together a bill to be taken to Parliament.
Subsequently, he's told us that the AG is working on it.
The AG is working on it. I recollect that a couple of months ago, a couple of MPs tried to resuscitate the bill in Parliament. They wanted to go the route again of the private members bill, and for some weird reason, the leader or the leader of government business in Parliament, the majority leader, got all this mixed up through the other paper. I mean, it got lost in transition and all of that. I mean, I'm really crestfallen, and I'm very sad as a Ghanaian. I'm asking myself, where are the Christian organizations that stood up and spoke against this act or supported the bill in 2024? Where are they? Where are the Muslim clerics who were saying that if the NPP did not sign this, I mean, they were going to vote against? Where are they? What has happened? I mean, we have a National Council for Curriculum Assessment. And you will expect that before any publication goes through the system, it would have been checked, rechecked, checked again, rechecked again. And for us to believe that this thing got through all the systems that NaCCA has and got onto...
NaCCA itself.
Including NaCCA itself.
Approving it.
I should think that there should probably be 4 or 5 proofreaders, experts who will look at some of these things before it gets... And for somebody to tell me that this went through this whole system and got onto the market for it to be withdrawn, I think that somebody is not being truthful to me. I cannot just believe, I cannot just take it on the face of it that this whole whatever was inserted in the teacher's manual was went through the system, and all this checks and balances, I mean, went through the whole system and got onto the market. I cannot believe that. I really cannot, for the life of me, believe that this escaped all the whole system that was put in place. And what are we saying? I heard the government spokesperson say that the publication has been withdrawn and all of that, and it ends there. And it ends there. I think that, look, we should be serious for once, right? For the stance that this government took on this matter, and for us to sit and wait, and for this vulnerable group, this is not the primary school. This is at the senior high school.
Yeah.
We're talking people from the ages of 15 to probably 18, and they are the most vulnerable. Look, and we could say, look, education in Ghana, we could say private ownership, but private ownership is at a very basic level. A lot more of people after that private at the basic level, at the secondary level, go to public schools. So that is where they are most vulnerable. I think that the matter shouldn't just end with NaCCA or the government spokesperson coming to tell us that since Reverend Itim Fojo raised the matter, the publications or the
manual.
the manuals have been withdrawn. I think it should go beyond that. And even much beyond that, what has happened to the bill that the president promised? You see, governments have priorities. So I recollect, within 2016 elections, corruption at the time was topical in the electioneering process. And so when we went to Parliament in the 7th Parliament in 2017, one of the first acts, I still think that is the first act, is the creation of the Office of the Special Prosecutor. That came true because the president was set in his mind. He knew what he wanted to do. He knew that he wanted to fight against corruption. So the first act that he did was to bring that bill to Parliament, and that was passed. And that led to the creation of the OSP. And that showed the priority of the president at the time. Today, our president has been 1 year in government. And given his pronouncements, he belongs to the Assemblies of God Church. Look, President Nana Addo, Dankwa Akufo-Addo did say, in fact, at a point, Dr. Mahmoud Bamia was pushed as a Muslim. No, we want to hear from you. And he made his pronouncement. He clearly declared his stance on this LGBT matter. And today, where are we? Is it the case that the NDC took us for granted, told us or took a stance that will help them win elections, and after elections go back to work as usual? I expect that we'll hear from the CSOs. I expect that we'll hear from the Christian Council. I expect that we'll hear from the Muslim councils. I expect that, look, people will actually take this matter up. And the level of interest should actually, we are not in an election year. This is where we could sit down with probably level heads and address this matter. They shouldn't take a stance after they had, taken this matter to a level in the electioneering campaign and then go back and rest on their oars. We should hold the NDC to the things that they said. It really baffles me to think that these matters are happening when an MP like Sam George sits in cabinet. He championed this proper human sexual like no other cause. And he gave him international recognition. Is he still in this country? Is he still sitting in cabinet? Is he hearing what is happening? I will expect that the matter won't end with just a withdrawal of this mandate.
I think we're here because President Akufo-Addo refused to assent to the bill.
I expect that he failed to assent to the bill. That's given the conditions leading, the situation in Parliament and all of that. He failed to assent to it. What have you done in the last 13 months?
The majority leader wanted to
what have you done in the last 13 months?
Majority leader stated clearly that this bill should be referred to the president.
Given
the majority leader stated
the NDC was elected.
The majority leader stated on the floor clearly that the bill will be referred to the president.
The stance the NDC took on this LGBT matter was the reason they were elected.
Right.
13 months down the line, what have they done? 13 months down the line, what have they done? Remember, their mandate is for 4 years. And we have already gotten 25% of their mandate is out of the way. What are we saying? And then now we are saying that they are going back, or even they're even making this whole matter more pronounced by going to our schools and introducing this act to the most vulnerable.
That manual was developed in 2024.
Go through the books, 2024, not 2025.
See.
2024. The book was written in 2024.
The manual was developed in 2024.
It was developed.
Yes, in 2024.
Look,
yes.
It's a process. Developing of those manuals, it's a process.
That means it took for a long time.
NaCCA itself will have to give its approval. I am sure there are other bodies that will also have to look at the curricula and all of that before it goes to the market. So whether or not it was written in 2024, whether or not we developed it in 2024, this was released in 2025. When we have a new government in place, and given NPP lost elections or were voted against because of their development, how about the person who introduced it? Given that the NPP lost elections because this thing was developed, when nobody knew about it, this thing was developed in 2024, nobody knew about it. It was not introduced in the schools. You are introducing it in schools and blaming NPP for it.
That is why people have to be
And
held.
blaming NPP
That is
for
why
it.
people
I
have
am
to be
saying
held
this morning
responsible.
that, look, as Ghanaians, I expect that we'll hear from the CSOs. Anyway, these days, I hear there's a platform, a WhatsApp platform where the CSOs are there. They probably are part of this agenda. Important media personnel
We don't know that for sure.
Are on that platform, and probably this agenda has been discussed there. They have found a way to come to market with it. And probably they have been testing the waters, testing and seeing how we will react to this matter, and then they will go further and probably go to our primary schools. I am begging those who found their voices in 2024. Where are they? Where is Sam George?
Very well.
Where is Moses Afameni?
So does it
Where
mean
are
that
they?
the NPP members that joined in the drafting of the bill, it means that those people were, playing tricks with Ghanaians?
Oh, but
It's one of them who has raised this
Of course, no, but he's saying, you are making it an NDC, he's making an NDC affair. No, he's making it an NDC affair. Meanwhile, NPP members were part of the team.
Honorable Itinfojo was
Exactly.
part of the
proponents of the bill.
Good. So
and he has been consistent.
Yes, but
that's why he's so fighting.
you are pushing.
I am asking that where are the NDC colleagues?
You are pushing it as though it is only the NDC members that were there.
The Speaker of Parliament cannot even be taken out. He has promised that he will put his speakership, and that he will rather die than see this act being pronounced. Where is he? What is he saying about this? I challenge Right Honorable Alvin Kingsford Bagbin. We want to hear his voice on the introduction of this in the curriculum.
But he has been very clear on this.
Clear.
He has been very clear on this on the floor. He says that it's going to be reintroduced.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Made a ruling
This
that
is a reality
when they came on the floor, when the matter came on the floor,
Thank you.
I am seeing the matter in the curriculum.
when the matter
Thank
came,
you. Honorable.
I want to
Thank
hear
you.
the
Thank you. Thank you. That's enough.
And the
That's enough.
Speaker has spoken about it.
That's enough.
I want to hear
says there's going to be
Thank you. Thank you.